Thank you. Welcome, everyone, here in person and others on various platforms. I'm glad quite a few of you braved through the rain and have actually made in person at this session. We haven't been having this session in person all these months, and so we would like to welcome you more often here. Whether I'm running or somebody else is running the session. So it's good to have the real person in person, as well as many we have got to know are also in person, however distant they are. You wouldn't believe how many people have been zooming on from all kinds of places and spaces we never even have anyone from. So it has been good in many ways. So welcome to our session. So you all should have a folder there. You turn to page 3, where we will begin with a short, very important prayer in the Buddhist tradition. It is renewing one's confidence and rational understanding of the teachings of the Buddha in its valid medicine for the ailing mind of the world that is deeply troubled not by lack of resources and things, but not knowing how to think things properly, not knowing how to strategize their own thoughts and mind. Even modern scientists have come to realize how valid and scientific and useful it is to know one's own mind, and through the practice of meditation. So Buddha taught these teachings through his enlightenment, not through books or academic research, through his own interfacing his own mind and facing his own demons, so to speak, and learning to transform them into light. All darkness are ununderstood lights within ourselves. So it's good to be able to experience oneself what the teaching says, rather than to believe in something as if some divine intervention will come to you. Buddha, 2,600 years ago, completely rejected the idea of anyone out there, be as a creator or intervener of anything but our own thoughts, our own conscious actions or unconscious actions. So as conscious action is much more useful than relying on unconscious actions. So therefore, being able to have conscious awareness of one's own thought and what it is about to make us to say or do or think or feel, that has huge consequences, not only to us now, but also in the future, and to others and greater community at large. Buddha himself spent those years in meditation, whose enlightenment and its consequences is today we're enjoying. The culture of knowledge that has been lost in that history over the 2,600, many monasteries, temples, monarchs have come and gone. You don't even recognize whose place was it, even after 200 years. But his thought is distinctively pristine and fresh as ever. And so that's why it's even better if you and I can experience that through our own meditation. So welcome to our meditation, during which we will first start with prayers by way of affirmation of the teachings of the Buddha, by refuge, and then commitment to practice loving kindness and compassion to all beings, however difficult they are. The best tool for us is to practice kindness, not over right and wrong, but rather trying to be kind to help those who doesn't know they are making wrongs. And then pardon them, forgive them, have the moral authority to practice forgiveness and compassion. So these sentiments will be expressed here. So we are going to do the prayers bilingually, because these both require us to do 3 times each. So we will do once in Tibetan and twice in English, both of these prayers. So join your hands at the heart. O Zanje Jada Zoje Jana La Janja Barda Dane Jazoje Dage Jenye Bezonanje Dala Benja Zanje Drava Joyenda Buddha Dharma Zanga Ide Revude Lideme Mave and Allah, Mare Buddha and the Buddha Dharma Zanga, I reviewed Ladam, Bavajo and Allah, Mare Buddha Samja Damja, Dawada, Juda, and Emperor. Donga da donga je juda ndawara juje donga mebe dawa da medawa juje nyeren jada nyeda ndawe danya la neba juje happiness and the cause of happiness. May there be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May there never from the happiness that knows no suffering. May there dwell equanimity, free from attachment and aversion to those near and far. May all beings happiness and the cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they never be from the happiness that knows no suffering. equanimity, free from judgment and aversion to darkness and fire. So now we will do the meditation. I will lead you short few minutes before each of the 3 sections. During this first part of the meditation, we focus our attention to the attempt to observe full stillness. And largely observe, firstly, the stillness in the room and all around you that we have created deliberately for this meditation to occur. No other activity but simply to calmly sit still. So feel the ambience of the stillness around you, the first. The second stillness, your posture. Keep your back straight, hands on your lap, 2 hands on your lap with the 2 thumbs touching below the navel. Elbows balance, shoulders also balance. Back slightly straighter than normally, not stiff or rigid, but nevertheless keeping it very clearly, consciously straight. Chin slightly tucked in. Eyes focus straight on the floor through the point of your nose. Eyes half open, not closed. Have a serene, peaceful, calm, contented gaze. So the third stillness is the stillness of the gaze of the eyes, not blinking your eyes, no widely opening. And the fourth stillness is the awareness, which is scanning the posture, not letting the mind leave that, but do repeatedly keep your posture endowing 4 qualities. Stillness of the confidence of the earth element, that you don't move. The emotional confidence in the meditation harmonizes your earth element to solidify, to remain strong and still. As you scan, you need to have the second quality, watering your life and the mind in this case, so they hold this posture. Hold the balance between rigidity and slackness, between knowledge and action, between kindness and compassion, between care and control. Often we lack balance in all these areas. So holding the body balanced and still is watering your life. Keeping the spine straight is fighting the right effort to burn the calories of laziness, idleness, lack of confidence. Straighter the back, more radiant your awareness will be. For fire lights up, warms your passion. And the fourth quality is insight and understanding of the meditation you have, which makes you to knowingly observe the technique. Scan the posture up and down, from the feet all the way to the crown. From the tip of single hair pulling toward the ceiling, You conclude the upwards ascending scanning of the posture, then reverse from the crown down all the way, down through the temple of your forehead, the jaws, lips, teeth, all relax, chin slightly tucked in, shoulders balanced, back straight, hands on the lap, legs and lower body completely keeping still. Even if there's a slight pain or discomfort, learn to be strong, that these too will pass. And this way you reserve. Scan the body up and down, one loop, and do 6 or say up to 6 to 8 rounds of scanning the posture in one good bout of effort. Making conscious to take a mini break after every one bout of effort, not leaning the body, not forgetting to keep the posture corrected, improved, not letting the mind wander off. If it does, gently bring it back to the posture. Feel the stillness of everyone around you. And we too make an attempt to hold and support each other. Calmly, subjectively keep positioning, knowingly checking, correcting, and feeling the benefit of minding your posture. while maintaining your posture as the base of the stillness of the posture and the stillness of all the surroundings. Now the third stillness we focus in this case is the breath. So our attention is so focused and still to witness, to do, to see and feel the carefully executed inhalation while you're inhaling. Each time the good inhalation inspires you as you stay with it. See the oxygen bring all the positivities when you inhale. And then as you permeate, the oxygen permeates and spread into your tissues, fibers, and the blood cells. It completely floods and permeate, knowingly rejuvenating. With this phase of the permeation of breath in the oxygen, you stay and spread in the whole body, feel the inundation of the benefit. And then as you exhale, as the carbon releases from your nostrils, with it let go any discomfort, or physical, mental, emotional. Just one out breath. Breathe out with a sigh of relief. In this way, remain still and focus in watching each round, qualified by attention, the doing, the knowing and seeing and feeling that each round of breath, and then make a deliberate attempt to count at the end of exhalation, 1. In this way, we will do forward counting, as high as a number you possibly can do without losing the count. If you lost your count and you're aware of it, just take a mindful mini break. Do not get agitated. And just then repeat again, try again from 1. Should you continue to do without being interrupted, try to increase your awareness even more by the number you're doing. So hold 1 pointedly, stay with in-breath when inhaling, with the retention of breath when you're permeating, with outgoing breath when you exhale. Forget all things, but completely stay mindful. Even the physical tension or difficulty that you have are naturally soothed and nurtured by this breathing technique. Any tensions in the body release as with out breath. Bring in all the positivities in your inhale and spread the oxygen and blood in that part of the body to shift. So you're consciously with the body while breathing, because body without the mind and consciousness with it is not alive. So mindful breathing nurtures the body and, of course, the mind itself. While keeping the posture, let's now focus on the qualified round breathing. We count forward as many a number you possibly can do. calmly holding our posture and attention, peace and stillness of the attention. This time we will focus on the same rounds of breath, but try to super qualify that your attention by trying to see the greater resolution in each of the inhalation from the mode of the passage, from where to where you're feeling the in-breath effect or the permeation effect or outgoing effect. Try to feel, know, trace, and follow. When you do each round, then do reverse counting. If you reach up to number 20 or 40 or whatever you reach in the previous technique, now do the reverse counting. The first one for me would be 60, and the second, 59, to the next, 58. Do that with great continuity of attention, tranquilly fixing your attention one point without forgetting the technique, without any touch of laziness or distraction. But even if they should occur, slowly embrace them as part of learning to develop your own attention, not dented by them, but reinforced by the distractions. Seeing them only are thoughts, not something good or bad, one to accept, another to reject. And then register the stillness in not losing the count while maintaining the posture. So now we'll recite these prayers before the teaching on page 9. Ozem je namje zambada loye jeda jeda je jo demo de baye je jengalo godozo. According to the intelligence predispositions in each being, we ask that you turn the Dharma with great law and common vehicles. Welcome everyone to this talk, following our meditation, which we just concluded. Of course, you can't afford to conclude mindfulness. You should always sustain it wherever possible. But I suppose everybody's endurance is limited by depending on this demanding corporal body. So this morning I'm going to talk on the topic of 4 elements in our health. Very important, because health is the fitness of our physical and mental well-being, but most of the time we're talking about physical health, and mental health is often it's almost like a tail of the dog, It doesn't feature very much of the dog. But when actually is the mind that has to be in charge of making health possible or depleting the health due to unconscious living. And that's why meditation we were doing in trying to harmonize the 4 elements and being able to sit still is letting the mind to do the leading role in order to harmonize the very factors that makes our body our living entity. Our body is not self. Our body is body without the mind and the consciousness and the warmth and breath with it. It's a remain. We call remain. Body is a remain. Body is not self. But when the body is occupied, you need to recognize who's the occupier. Occupier is not the name. Name is given to the body. If the body wasn't born, no name is given to our floating consciousness. We haven't got all these spare names sticking on this floating consciousness, nor can we spot consciousnesses. We only give the names to body, particularly, boy's name. Oh, no, she's a girl. Oh, girl's name. Why you tell she's a girl? Oh, because she's a physically girl. So we're not really male or female. Mentally we are very much transcend gender. But yet we are attached to our form, what we call body. So why I want to talk about the body is body is made out of, word body means constituents, yeah? The constituents put together. Like you can have a factory where they make the bus body. They build the body of the bus, but not the engine. Yeah. So when you look at where they make the bus body, they are building with metals and wood and screw and nails and plastics and rubbers and and all these things. So that's the body of the bus, yeah. Likewise, our body is made out of, originally came from our parental fluid, father's semen and mother's blood. And amazing. And our consciousness conceiving it, and then an amazing magic of the 3 people's karma is to form, to have the amazing relationship, biological, emotional, strong body. Reason we have such a closeness to our parents is because we are basically emission of their bodily fluid. Basically, we are radiation of their body, and we just renting, we just renting their unit. Our body is basically, if you look at your body, if you really have a lot of resemblance to your mother and your father, and not just externally your features, but lots in your even health genetically, So why are we inheriting certain physical genetic karma of parents? Or are we inheriting certain karma but that is not genetic or not biological, but some past incarnations? So our health is largely dependent on what we did in the past that are harmful to other living bodies' life, or that we have done good to other living bodies' life. Those who enjoy good health, which many people do, some people have never had illness for 30, 40 years. They've been healthy all along. It's because in the past they have not harmed or killed or destroyed any living being's life knowingly or even accidentally. Whereas others who have so many illnesses, one after another, is because of not purely genetically, because you could be one of the 5 siblings, but you alone, one among the 5 alone, have experienced such bad health, whereas others don't. So there's not genetical health of the parents, You may have diabetes or something later in your life because it's run in the family, but actual health karma is something much more invisible than the biology would suggest. So this can all trace back to the karma of the consciousness prior to this incarnation, from wherever the consciousness have come from, and whatever sort of furnitures it has shipped from past life to this, it's all here. Now we are living with those. We have shipped a lot of things from past lives, and people have moved from Germany, but they have a lot of the furniture's all here. Before they arrive, the furniture's arrived already. They're waiting to be collected at the botany or wherever the port may be. You wouldn't believe how many we are inheriting unconsciously from past lives. And therefore, it's even more important how much more consequences we will have to face if what we do with this life while we are alive. If we do harmful things to living beings, we destroy life knowingly, out of greed, out of hatred, out of ignorance, like killing living beings as a kind of a sport, like fishing, hunting. All these things are directly destroying other living beings' life. Why we might think I'm good at aiming at a bird or duck or fish. We think it's a sport, but it's not. To the poor animals, that's a tragedy. The young ones lost their mum because someone shot while they were frolicking on the bush, eating some berries, and then someone shot it down. Yet human beings call it, sports, recreation. Unconsciously, they kill living beings. They have no fear that they are destroying someone's life or injuring someone's life, let alone robbing a mother. The karmic consequence of that is tragic, short-lived, accidental death. Lots of people die accidentally, untimely death, preventable illness. Why? Not just medical. Karmically, they have not been scrupulous what they do with their life. So therefore, when we meditate, we are trying to reconstitute our karma, how to be mindful, not to resort to aggression, violence. Some kill those who kill animals like this in the name of sport and recreation. It's out of ignorance. They don't know. They don't know it is someone's mother. They don't know. But if they really come to know, did I kill a mother? Oh, those 4 chicks have nowhere to go. Then they will know what they have done. Most of them, that's killing out of ignorance. Others killing out of desire because they want to eat the duck. They want to eat the duck. Or they want to collect the, feathers or bones or skin or whatever out of desire. Others out of hatred because, they say these are pests, and then you put all sorts of things to try to destroy them. So there's a lot of that going on all the time. While people wanted to have good health, but what they're doing is depleting that. So when we do the meditation, we are actually working to build the four elements. Four elements consist of, we call it earth, water, fire, and air, and space is, of course, covered with that. And they call, in the Western medicine, they call solid, gas, and liquid, And that's what body is. This body is not really that solid. It's a gas and liquid and solid, as long as the bag is holding all the three together. 7-layered skins, 7-layer skin, a very, very stretchable stomach. You wouldn't believe how stretchable stomach and human skins are. They can stretch at least 20 times the size that you and I are holding if we just push. You can see some people are very, very big, what they're filling in is the skin is stretching and they're holding. So solid really means earth, and liquid, so liquid means the water or fluid. And they don't talk about, so solid, liquid. Gas is the actual air or breath, and then the warmth is the temperature, fire. So solid refers to earth, or liquid refers to water, and fire or warmth, body temperature is the fire, and the air is the breath. And so therefore, when we meditate, we are actually, physically you might sit 40 minutes, 50 minutes, you were not comfortable, you feel like standing up, you feel restless, there's a lot of pins and needles, but you're actually restoring your whole for elemental harmony that is otherwise lacking. Why? The elements here we're talking about, mind over matter, is if you develop confidence and sit still, observe the stillness. Confidence is earth element. It grounds you. It builds your confidence, isn't it? Confidence grounds you. Ground means it cultivates the earthy qualities of you. What is earth? Earth is hard, firm, and stable, isn't it? A lot of people lack these things. They don't have confidence. They're very unassertive. They're restless. They're very, very exactly the opposite of this. Firm, stable, and confident. They're not. Very, very quickly don't like. Emotionally. One up, one down. Why? They don't have earth. So they need to develop confidence in the benefit of meditation or whatever you're doing, and then you sit, then sit there 40 minutes or whatever and not move. Never mind the pain. The pain that you have is not from sitting. I tell you, pain that you experience during the sit is the pain in the mind that you have long suppressed, and out of grief, out of resentment, all this gut pains that you have not addressed them, you have completely ignored or not really faced them. So meditation is very healing. It just confronts your pain. Pain actually, treatment always hurt, doesn't it? Meditation is a treatment. We don't call it, because we don't have medical certificate to call this as a treatment room. It is a treatment room. We call Dharma medicine. We don't call treatment without telling medicine. We teach medicine, but we don't call it treatment. Yeah, it's a treatment. You get treated, You've been treated to become well. So pain or whatever, pain from resentment, anger, sadness, blame, negativity, self-loathing, and laziness, and fear, anxiety. These kind of emotional pains has been trapped as a lot of negative constituents in the body, and they are very ready to be easily, you will feel the pain straight away. So the pain in the meditation is actually healing that pain. Treatment hurts. Nobody goes to treatment because they enjoy the treatment. They want the consequences of the treatment is healing. So we must have the confidence. If you sit still with confidence, that you are developing the firm, hard, confident, emotional qualities. What is it? Faith, confidence, friendship, loyalty, discipline. These are all firm qualities. These are firm earth qualities. And then the water is that is the fluid in the body. You know, people talk about not having they need to take tablets that thins the blood or something. Who thickened it? That's the problem. Who thickened the blood? Due to lack of water. Lack of water. People are drinking so much, but thirsty ever again. They're drinking just to please the lips and the tongue, but not to quench the real thirst in life. They're drinking lots of colored, fizzy drinks, alcohol, but never quenching the thirst. No wonder why they are dehydrated. Life is dehydrated. They're not watering life. Watering life is balance. Watering life. What does water do? Water runs deep and holds things together. The sand, gravel, and cement put together, nothing, no concrete. Water put in there, it will hold all those properties together to hold our buildings. Water holds together, like your confidence and your ability to balance in life also can hold you together. Otherwise, people have 72,000 channels and arteries in the body. They're very fine, and no problem of any fluid not passing through them, but the fluid are blocking. The fluid are solidifying. They're clogging. They're becoming stones instead. Why? Who's putting those stones? Well, you're meditating, while you're eating, while you're working. Who's planting those stones? Stones are solidified anger, ill will, bitterness, rigid wrong views is completely opposite the water element. Water runs deep, and these feelings, you're not flowing with change. You're just resisting to change. You're still in the past. So that's not balance. You're not letting go. So when the water is frozen, you can't drink it. It doesn't flow. Lots of people are developing negative, destructive emotion that is antithesis of the water element, even though they drink a lot. But it makes them go to the toilet more, but they become as thirsty as anything. They have so much thirst for me, but nothing is quenching from what they drink. Why? They're not resorting to knowledge that really bursts your heart open. Meditation, when you sit there, in the balanced posture, you are harmonizing. You're making sure that you have deep understanding of suffering of the world and people, and then instead of being angry at people with difficulties, problems, you develop compassion to them. If you're angry, it solidifies the blood. It burns the blood. It raises the blood pressure, and it makes them even hard and clogged and solid. Why people have hemorrhage? Hemorrhage is clotting of the blood going in the brain. Some other parts might be quite easy blood clot, but brain clot goes in the head, finish. You could die in no time. Why? Where does the blood clot come from? Not from food. Bad mood. Bad mood creates those anger and ill will. He did this to me. In 1985, he pushed me. so that kind of attitude. People bring up issues or some stories that happened many, many years ago. All of a sudden, they should be telling. That is the cause of the clotting. That is the cause of sudden death. That is the cause of clotting and hemorrhage and many, many, sudden death. Where is sudden death? Who wanted to die suddenly? We just bought life insurance. On one hand, they will buy life insurance. On the other hand, they're depleting the life insurance. They're destroying it unconsciously. So meditating waters your mind, waters you. It will generate. It waters means it makes you feel very balanced, because water runs deep. Compassion. When you have compassion, you understand people's sufferings and problems. You see them, you don't lump them with the problem, you develop compassion to them with their problems, and then their suffering makes you to develop compassion, not anger. But most people do the latter.
they're angry. They have such person at the work or for home or things like that. They don't realize I have to be kind to these people. Their suffering is a great cause for my development, my own development, compassion. I should not be so rigid and impatient and angry. If that is blood clotting. That is the depletion of water element. Why people have so low, they have no good enough, they have to put blood. Sometimes they don't have enough blood, other times they have too much blood pressure. So who's doing that? From the food? No, from the bad mood attitude. Bad mood causing attitude that people themselves aren't aware. In meditation, we try to inform and reform people how to be cognizant of their own attitudes that are cause of these illnesses. So meditation is amazing reparation. It does lots of healing peacefully while you're meditating. You don't look for immediate feeling good in the meditation. That's not healing. Healing is when you know how to deal with the pain and their causes. The causes of all these physical disturbances, when you have really ill health, you go to the doctor. They can't tell you any medical problem. You know why? Because right now it hasn't become quite physicalized. It's just in the emotional level. So emotionally very stressed and not quite biologically testable. Pathologically, it's too early for them. Most good Tibetan doctors can tell the disease you will have in 5 years' time. Not just straight away you have a blood clot or something, because they're listening to the pulse. They can tell from the listening to the pulse that what is the harmony and lack of all the four elements that is caused by emotion and karmic behavior of the person, attitudinally. So that's why when you meditate, you are watering your body. When you're sitting there praying, you're cultivating compassion, loving kindness, forgiveness, understanding, prayer. And when you do all of these things, you are actually watering your life. Like when the gesture of the hand set in the meditation posture is try to keep balance. They don't have balance. People don't have balance. They want to do this, not enough of that. They think they love the other. They're just as angry to the other. And they hate the person as much as they love, And that's the problem. When the love and hate is happening with the same person, there is a tussle. There is. So one needs to develop understanding. Water runs very deep. You've got to have deep understanding of human suffering, where it is made and from what. When you have that, then your blood will be thinned by your compassion. Your blood will be thinned by compassion. You don't need to take a blood thinning tablet. Firstly, you don't have a thick blood anyway. It can prevent the thickening of the blood. How about that? Prevention of thickening of the blood is meditation. Why they say lots of health benefit of meditation? Social benefit, individual behavior benefit, and medical benefit of meditation, because they don't know these things. They seem to see the effect of people. By people who do meditation, they can tell some good shifts happening to them subsequently, but they don't know. But the Buddha, through his enlightenment, said that if you sit in the correct sevenfold posture of the meditation, it naturally heals your body. On a long level. During the session, you might have to put up with the duration of or a little bit of pins and needles and maybe numbness, and who doesn't? But most of those pains doesn't come from meditation. The meditation is never thought as a cause of pain, by the way. Meditation is just treatment. Treatment brings the sludge. Treatment brings out surgically they remove things. When they have surgery, they remove all those strange things. So meditation, you are bringing out your gunks, all the negativities that we didn't know we were unconsciously cultivating. So meditation harmonizes your health. It heals your body, spirit, mind, and not to mention the four elements. Earth element, earth is solid, water is fluid. Yeah, other people have diseases caused by excessive fire element, temperature. All these, many of the diseases are all to do with the fire element, excessive fire element. excessive fire element, short temper, negative emotions. They don't have any kind of tolerance level at all. They don't learn to be tolerant. They think zero tolerance is the way to go. Why? Zero tolerance is the cause of all these kidney problems. Zero tolerance is the cause of kidney problems. It burns. Why there's kidney stones? Yeah, a lot of zero tolerance, impatience, anger, resentment, bitterness, vindictiveness. These things are excessive heat that actually boils the blood. They call, anger is seething. Anger is seething, slowly cooking. Slowly cooking. Those slow cookers, into slow cookers, if you don't put enough liquid, they'll cook the whole pot itself. Yeah, slow cooking. It's a lot of years of resentment, years of anger. They still have no intention to forgive or reconcile with that. They still think they wronged me. And they still are suffering. Poor me, they did this to me. That kind of attitude is, you can control the weather by air conditioning. You can control clothes by putting more jackets or stripping them off. But you still feel very cold in here. You feel very cold. People who emotionally causing a lot of heat, but towards others, they don't have any love or respect or any warmth. They lack joy. They have coldness towards each other, exactly opposite of fire. Fire would be warm. Their peripheries, their hands and feet goes cold very quickly. Why? They don't have any fire, proper fire, healthy fire. Fire means joy. Joy means gratitude and contentment. If you have contentment and gratitude, respect and love and rejoice the things you have, count the blessings of your life, you will start to boost your fire element, and you don't feel the coldness from other people, even though they might be a little bit upset. Their anger doesn't make you upset. They feel compassion to them. Poor thing. He's angry at me. So what have I not quite yet done my share? That's why he's angry. It's my duty to reconcile. And one doesn't think it's his fault. Why he's angry? And we also justify to be angry. And that's exactly why people feel cold from each other. There's no warmth. So when you sit upright and fire burns. Fire burns the fuels, turns them into light, and gives radiance. You have to produce that fire. You have to sit upright and with awareness, the benefit of meditation. With a lot of awareness, why I have to be conscientious to mind my mind and my attitude. Don't mind about things and people. Mind your tongue, mind your thoughts and attitudes. What you think about things harms you or helps you more than the things themselves. When you have that thing sorted out, then you will start to be more aware, I should be mindful of my thought. So then, therefore, keeping your back straight is a reminder, is a bodily posture reminder to be mindful of your own thought and attitudes, Are we suffering attitude or are we suffering people? Most people think they're suffering people. They go to friends who are counselors or psychologists or help. They always go to complain about what they did, what they didn't do, what these people do to me. And then they think we are a bit of a victim of what they did to us. Nobody's intelligent enough to think to themselves, I thought this, that's the problem. I'm thinking this is the problem. What should I do? I should meditate. Very good. At least then you don't have to go to another deluded person to ask for what they think. What do they know? What do they know? They hardly know their mind. They're only reading textbooks. And that's not emotional intelligence. So you need to be cognizant of your own emotional, tapestry and try to see how to delete some, how to recruit another's, and that only you do when you're fully aware, sitting with back straight and mind is really aware of your posture, your round of the breath, and counting forward, counting reverse, then you become cognizant of my attitudes. He's not him, he's what I think. I'm suffering from my stagnant attitude about him. Whether it's by a dad or your boss, your friend or someone, people think it's them. that's when they haven't got any light in the life, let alone enlightenment. Those who are starting to have a little light through meditation, they know, oh, he's not him, he's my attitude. So I must change my attitude. So if you don't have generous, respectful attitude, you will feel disrespectful to your father, and you don't feel generous towards him because your attitude is very mean. You don't see any of the good he did. You just list all the things that he didn't do, because that's where your attitude suffers. You're completely controlled by your attitudes. But your attitudes are not you, you know. The attitudes is also elements. So attitudes are changeable. You don't have to say, I don't want to. If you can change your clothes, if you can change your hair, why can't you change your attitude? I mean, that's even better, you know. It's much efficient change, you know. And people change a lot of outside things. Deep down, there's still the deluded me, you know, suffering 30 years of whatever. There are a lot of changes, you know. Hairdo, clothes do, how do they put the furnitures in the house, painting the rooms new, but still staying the same attitude in here. All this window dressing, they call it. This is window dressing, all this artificial window dressings, looking at this, you know, these interior magazines and always thinking what you should do. Look at the interior of yourself. In a meditation, see what kind of attitude you need to drop, what kind of attitude you need to import. They're importable, remember? They're all free. No tax, no levies, no levies. It's completely free. You know, you can import new attitudes of kindness and compassion and forgiveness and discipline and respect, and then you feel, that will definitely bring light in you. You can love your mom or dad or someone again, which totally makes your life worthy of living. So a lot of people depressed because they haven't reconciled their loved ones. They have hated them. They're still hating them. Why? You can see they have so much feeling of coldness towards others. Because they haven't reconciled with them near and dear, they're as cold as wherever they go, whoever they are with. They can't feel the faith and respect in others because their mind is completely shrouded by poor me. So you need to develop warmth. You need to develop fire. You need to fire the right effort to sit upright and witness this. This fire is having you have to start the pile of light. Don't let it go off. Do your daily meditation, at least, if not more than daily, not just a little while. So, meditation is very, very healing in the long run. Temporarily, also, it will start to shift. Once you start doing it, you can see your mind is shifting, your attitude towards. Then your whole fire element. So there's a lot of joy. Gratitude in you, be that what you do, who you're with, where you live, you really take them, appreciate all of them as they are. You don't have to compare with others. That's very harsh to yourself. Don't compare yourself with others. Just accept yourself as you are and see everything as a blessing. And they usually are, you know. They usually are, you know. Amazing. All of a sudden, we got cataract removed. We can see again. Why? Because the fire has been lit. Yeah, when there's no light, we don't seem to see things in the darkness, yeah? So keep your back straight. Yes, fire element, yeah? Meditation brings a lot of joy. I'm talking in the health in relation to the body made out of 4 elements, yeah, here. This is very important 4 elements thing. Elements means factors. Then themselves are nothing. They just put together, they create the transient collection, compounded together, and then we have this body. And how long they can hold together in this body as a living entity, a living organ, happily or not, totally depends on what kind of elements we're adding, what elements we need to subtract. There's a lot of elements in our mind that we need to subtract. We need to deplete them. We need to slowly move out of the back door. Oh, this gosh, I did kept this this long. Make sure nobody sees, and then put it in the bin next morning. Yeah, there's a lot of things people keeping in the mind. The body of the mind is suffering, and then the body of the body suffers. Body of the body suffers when the body of the mind has a lot of poor me. Why didn't they do to me? When you have this, it really makes the whole, even the food, exercise have no benefit. Your whole attitude just hasn't got anything to stand on. So meditation can completely revolutionize and bring a huge new change in your mind. Why people's hands and legs get cold when they have air-conditioned rooms, all the temperatures are controllable? Why their legs and feet go cold and they develop arthritis? Because they haven't got warmth in here. They haven't got any warmth of gratitude. And they might eat some warm food, eat some bit, this supplement, Why you have to supplement to something that hasn't got anything in it? That's the problem. People taking a lot of supplement, but they haven't got anything to supplement to. They should have the right attitude before you rely on too much supplement. These days everybody's flocking to the health food shops. They're buying all this food that's healthy, but their attitude in the meantime is depleted by all this self-destructive, negative, and unkind, uncompassionate attitudes. They're still holding those. And it's completely defeat the purpose. Temporarily it may seem control the blood pressure on someone's day, but deep down you're still depleted. It's racking from within. Most elemental damage is caused by bad attitudes. Some people age biologically they may be only 30 or 40, but they look very much older. Why? Because they've been depleted, they've been destroyed from within. Why their body aged quicker than their body? Because what they're doing in the mind emotionally is destroying it. They call destructive emotion. Who witnessed destructive emotion? Who can prevent that? One who knows the emotions. Emotions related with elements, So fire is the right amount of fire is very important. Passion, discipline, reliable, do things on time, and do things that others can appreciate, and yourself also boost your morale, and that is fire. Oh, why should I do this? I don't want to do. No, I don't want to do anything. And then you feel really cold. You hardly do much, just merely to keep this body going fed here, and that's it. But you're not doing anything passionately for the benefit of others. So we have to do things for others. We are not talking about someone telling you what to do. You yourself know where you are, what aspect of life you really haven't done well, whether reconnecting with the parents or helping the people in your immediate circles are concerned, where your duties, where we have really sort of neglected. We should bring some passion and discipline. That's the fire. I'm sure your arthritis will be. Your fingers say, thank you. Your fingers starting to have warmth. You don't have to have a hot water bottle holding the hot water bottle, still not feeling warm. Totally dependent on things external. Deep down, there's emotionally no warm attitude towards others. You wouldn't believe how much the mind power can change your body and the attitude and the emotion and bodily constituents. Bodily constituents are made in the mind. Bodily constituents are not made in the kitchen, They don't realize. Some people enjoy good health and live long. Why? Because they have been spiritually, emotionally, and physically very thoughtful of what they do each day, exercise-wise, what they eat, food-wise, what they shouldn't eat that are directly causing destruction, injury of other living beings' life. And one become more mindful of not contributing to the direct causing of that. And when you start to eat healthy but right proportion, they actually have some kind of attitudinal changing happening, Otherwise, nobody want to give up what they like to eat. when you're starting to have some spiritual development happening, you wouldn't believe what many things you are quite happy to not eat. Your favorite, the rich, sweet, delicious food are usually cause of many of the problems in the long term. Yeah. So when one is able to control your craving and desire, see, then all the four elements can be harmonized. And other people have a lot of respiratory illness, air illness, the oxygen, a lot of mental problem. It actually goes so much chemical imbalance. They don't know how. They cannot work conventionally in the relative world as relative things. They just aren't themselves as a relative person because they're not with us. Why? The mind is completely lost into these negative mental attitudes caused by excessive air. Excessive air means thinking too much and feeling very little and doing even less. Thinking too much, feeling very little, and doing even less. And that is cause of mental disease. Mental disease. So that is air. Air means move. Air makes you move. Air flows, but person is not moving. He's stagnant. He's like 20 years ago. That's what he felt. He's still there. He hasn't moved an inch from them because the oxygen, the air isn't moving in his life. His life isn't moving. His life is stagnant. He couldn't see the sun shining or calendar changing day, season. For him is this doom and gloom attitude. Why? Because there's no oxygen. There's no real oxygen. This person is almost dead. Unconsciously, like a zombie. There's only a kind of a mechanical body living, but the mind isn't with him or her anymore. Why? A lot of people with mental disorders are because they have no control of the oxygen. No, we're not talking about oxygen, the air, subtle air element. The air goes in wrong passages because your thought is so negative. It goes wrong passage. Therefore, it clogs certain nerves. The air always goes to the veins, which produce sadness, which produce poor me, and therefore they have a lot of problems to do with respiratory as well as thought disorder, because of the lack of air element. So our ill health comes from negative, unskillful dispensing of one's own mind, behavior, and attitude. So that's why when we do meditation, we are trying to heal the body on a subtle level. Outer level, you might have to do sitting meditation, you have to do chant, you have to do prayers, you have to observe maybe silence or observe vegetarianism or some even fasting, some observing silence. You might do all of that. But that actually helps you to gain self-control and try to then mind your how to correct your the disharmonious four elements. Because our well-being and health and happiness depends on how conscious we are of the constituents that we are producing mentally, emotionally. And in meditation empowers us to bear witness to that, and so we have to deal quite a lot of the past habits, but so that these past habits does not flow on to next, and we are able to put a little bit of a break here. And that's why discipline to practice regular meditations and healing meditations are very, very important, because your health is totally determined by not only, people talk about lifespan, how long you live, and how long and healthy you live totally depends on your merit, lifespan, and karma. Merit means good deeds that you do. Karma means the actual fate or particular things you've done in the past, and the lifespan means actual kind of long length of life that you may have the capacity to live, either because of the family or whatever. Everybody's have a certain expected lifespan, and some die young, some die abruptly without any illness. Others live long, but have some illnesses, but the illness don't kill them.
The only age killed them, They have disease, but the disease didn't kill them. They had to have the disease, but they didn't die. Others have no disease, but died instantly, suddenly, without anything to point your finger to. So sudden, untimely, and violent, tragic death occurs. Why? Because of the damage that one causes emotionally. That one emotionally causes this, so that it can abruptly cut your lifespan short, or you don't have any merit left in your mind or left, and you didn't create any good karma, and because of that, you could die. So therefore, there's no guarantee, no guarantee that we wouldn't die, however healthy, good blood pressure, however medically we have said you no problem, but there's no guarantee if we do not keep a good check on our own attitudes and kind of thought and emotion that we are hosting and posting and sharing. Because if you have a lot of negativity towards others, not realizing it's fair share of you also made all the things conditioned. But yet we think it's entirely of them that I suffered. And one has this kind of attitude. One is prolonging that. One is deepening that cause of death. One can die very quickly just by ill will. Ill will is pretty much almost same as death, You rather die than have ill will. That's the prayer. You rather die without having another day of ill will. If you're living, you should be with goodwill. Particularly toward those who you have previously a lot of difficulties, but send them kindness and forgiveness. And you have moral authority and power to be able to do that. They never would say no if you send goodwill. If you feel goodwill, their ill will is totally deconditioned by your mutual ill will. There is no all ill will is mutual. If we're starting to shift the attitude towards them, slowly you will start think kind thing about them, talk kind thing about them, and then they also say, "Oh, is he doing that? Oh, so he doesn't really hate me as much as I thought." Oh, looks like he doesn't. Oh, he's looking at you. He's smiling at you. He's doing things for you, or he doesn't avoid you. Or, it's really good sign. So if we're doing that, someone's ill will is never your cause of suffering. Your copycatting is. If you copycat that, yes, then you are in trouble. You don't need to do anything wrong but copy the other. Is he angry? And you also angry, he's angry. That's the problem. So wisdom is, if he's angry, I should be concerned. Because I have authority and moral duty to not let that escalate. He's my father, poor thing. He's my this. He's my that. I have some responsibility how to repair this, and what can I do to make him feel his anger not stay like this, poor thing. So you have to almost try to take steps to address that. Send loving kindness. May all beings have happiness and cause of happiness, including this particular person, But yet he's not happy because he's angry at me. And who knows who else, poor thing. If I was there alone to be angry with me, at least I can do something. How about may they be free from suffering and the cause of suffering? What is the cause of suffering? The misunderstanding. All misunderstanding, all assumptions, all miscommunications. It's not someone deliberately anything wrong. It's just all misunderstandings. It's amazing. It's a very great cause of compassion. You really feel sad. Human beings have no intelligence that all this suffering is caused by misunderstanding. Don't say misunderstanding. Misunderstanding. You missed the understanding. So, which means you have to go and try to capture the understanding. try to understand the cause of the misery and misunderstanding, and then go and do something. Make peace. Give something. Walk towards them. Say something that they know that you care about them, that you feel sorry about them. Then you wouldn't believe how quickly everything shifts. if one of the two has to be less egoistic, less stupid, and more understanding. If you really like stupidity, you can keep some, but try to lessen a bit. If stupidity has given you so much good, of course you can keep them, but try to reduce one little a day. You wouldn't realize how big a difference it made. All of a sudden, your understanding between two you have increased. There's dialogue happening. Oh, they say, I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. And they also say, I'm sorry too. Yes, both saying that. Oh, how much is misunderstanding left? Not a lot. That is compassion. That is the real meditation. Real meditation is we sit on the cushion to rehearse these, and then everyday life you see next time you ring somebody, you write a short really note that really looks good when you write. If someone read it, that really will change that. Just use these modern gadgets to heal. Don't delay. Sending all these texts, that's not so useful. Send something really useful that will heal them. That will make them feel that you love them and you have no, anger or issues at all. It's all, I want to clear this. Our friendship is very important. Say that to them, and you don't delay that. You bring that forward. That's enlightenment. That's living. That will definitely bring some understanding, and healing is learning to. If your mind is in a very good space, then everything clears. You can see, understand. So, this kind of understanding of the mind is the most important thing. However much we know other things from about the study of botany or biology or of the rocket science or planet or whatever, amazingly good. But it's even better if you knew a little bit of the one in here. What's he doing at home? Where does his miseries come from? Does he really make them at home, or does he get delivered, as in Amazon delivers your sufferings? Or where does your suffering come from? Where they're made, So it's very important to know that a lot of them are made in this deluded mind unconsciously. When we become conscious, we can unmake them. We can delete them. You wouldn't believe how much all of a sudden you feel spacious, because why? You deleted quite a few things. They talk of memory, don't have enough memory. Delete those things you kept taking the space. Meditation is to let go, delete those wrong views, misunderstanding, and bad habits, bad attitudes. And being able to do that is purifying your mind. Buddha said there's no greater Buddhism than purifying your mind and cleaning your mind and watching your thoughts and learning to delete some, recruit others, and empty most of them. Very good. Empty most of them. So with this, I would like to remind everyone, we have this since our lockdown, we weren't sure whether we could have this retreat or not, but we are going to have this in person as well as online retreat in our Health and Healing Medicine Buddha retreat on the Easter long weekend. So if you haven't quite made up your mind what to do on the Easter, I suggest that retreat. So we still, due to the limited space, we can't have. So that means most people will have a twin chair, which is really good. Usually we put 6 people in those large rooms, and this time we also have a very good, professional chef and residence. So that retreat's coming up. Please, if you're interested, please book early. We haven't made a very strong presentation or promotion this in the past because we weren't quite sure about all these uncertainties. That now at least we know that if people find too long a distance travel to East Gippsland, to some people it is, you don't need to, you can do it from your home. We have a very increasing number of audience on the Zoom, so you can do it comfortably at home, but still being able to
really focus those 4 days on the Healing Medicine Buddha retreat, which is a meditation on particularly healing. So I strongly recommend all as a gift to yourself and or someone else really need to do something healing. What better time to do than Easter. Easter is the second longest holiday for whatever. One should be doing something holy. One should be doing something wholesome, not drinking and driving. That's for not sure. Quite a lot of people get killed on Easter weekend, I'm sadly saying. If people stay safe in meditation, I don't think that will happen. So it's an excellent opportunity to reconcile and heal your mind, body, and spirit. So that's what's coming up. Any questions, please? I will allow a few minutes. Thank you very much, everyone. Quite a few people here. Someone asking question about book to recommend about this subject. Someone's asking, Namkat Lamo's question is, I seem to be able to do more necessary work on my attitude and ego response to people, but find really hard to shift negativity, be it anger or extreme sadness when things arise that block events from moving forward. Why would that be? Well, if you're shifting your attitudes, then you have to that shifting of the attitude has to be positive. Negativity doesn't exist by itself. Negativity, by definition, is negating. You are negating it. You're negating this shouldn't happen to me. He shouldn't have done this to me. I shouldn't have said this. They have. So why you keep negating? You should say they have. So what? Now what's it going to do? Positive. So positive means accept it. He was negative, so what? But does he have to be negative ever now? No. See? Be positive. Yeah, he lost his temper, but so what? We do it too. So therefore be positive. That's the end of it. And don't negate it shouldn't have been like that. It has and already finished. See, negative comes from the word negating. In Buddhism, suffering should be accepted. Problems should be accepted, not negated. Suffering should be accepted. But when you accept suffering, then it doesn't stay negative. When you negate it, stay negative. Why? You deny. It's like saying the water shouldn't be wet. Because water is wet. And you're saying that, you want running water in your home, but when the taps turns on, you don't want it to be wet, your clothes. It's ridiculous. You're denying the fact. So negating is negative. Positing is positive. Look at the two words, There's no negativity by itself. No negativity that itself, even sadness. Why you have extreme sadness? When you have sadness because you don't want this, you deny these things. If you have an onslaught of a cancer or some other illness that recently become diagnosed, you should say, my turn. Statistics says this many people have it, it's my turn, so now I should start living. Now I should start as though what is priority here? Instead of saying this shouldn't happen to me, I'm still young. Some people say I never smoked, I never drank, I've been very kind all my life, still I get the breast cancer, they say that. That's negating this cancer that you already in your body is becoming negativity. But accept that as the cause of your scrupulous way to live from here, and how many years you didn't have any illness, now you have this illness. So accept that. If you accept it, it doesn't negate. By not negating, the illness is much more accepted. When you accept it, illness is a lot easier to cure. So therefore, it's important that word negativity isn't something in itself. It's our resistance to accept it. and to try to use it as a stepping stone to grow from, rather than saying, if this didn't happen, my life would have been very nice. Because this came, now it's all ruined. When you do that, you become negative. But you say, oh, now this surprise came. Amazing examination came. Midterm examination came. This taught me a lot. So people learn from negative situations. In the Buddhist teaching, we call transforming all adversity as excellent opportunity to transform them into the stepping stone for your growth. Why? If you don't negate it, if you don't reject it. That's what Kubler-Ross says. Dr. Kubler-Ross says, most people have difficulty accepting death. Why? They deny that shouldn't happen in their life. Second, they reject. Third, they bargain. And they never get to do the fourth, acceptance. And this is not just your death. Someone else in your life. Say your mother died. And people ask, did they deny that should happen? Yet it happened. So they have negating the death of mother. Then they're angry. And they're bargaining. Shouldn't happen. And they're depressed ever since. So where does the depression come from? Negating. Buddha said, assert truth of suffering. He doesn't call it, false of truth, false of suffering. He said truth of suffering is to accept the nature of existence. It's the nature of life is like that. If you have loss, it means you have gained before. Isn't it? If you lost a position and you're suffering the loss, you should accept that. Why? You've been holding the position 10 years. No, hardly anybody hold most of the positions 5 years even. Particularly high positions. Most people lose the position within 5 years. Why? Their loss comes from the gaining. They have some kind of ascent to reach the peak of holding the position. So because you had a gain, there will be loss. And because there's a meeting, there will be parting. So why are you so sad about parting? You're so sad you're parting. You realize you create the cause, the meeting. You met and you want to meet and you don't want to part. I mean, that's really illogical. So irrational. So sad. You feel sad for what? Sad, extreme sadness of what? Loss, grief. You suffer old age. You feel so sad you're old. But in all those years you were praying to live long. And now the prayer is answered, you're not happy. So next time you shouldn't pray like that. Really. Just try to live long, we can say, but yeah.
I'm just wondering about the concept of boundary setting and how almost setting boundaries for ourselves and creating kind of expectations on how other people should treat us, it in a way kind of sets the stage for our happiness and well-being. However, I guess setting boundaries means that you hold other people accountable for the suffering they've caused you, and I'm just wondering about your thoughts on the utility of boundary setting and kind of holding other people accountable for the suffering that they've inflicted on you, and how to not kind of gossip negatively but hold them accountable and be like accepting of aware of the suffering that they've facilitated in, but obviously you've got the negative karma to have kind of experienced the suffering in the first place. So I guess
yes, the boundary setting is not a Buddhist term. It definitely has lurked into the helping professions, linguistics, but it's not a Buddhist terminology. Buddhist terminology doesn't say boundary setting. They see all suffering as interdependent. You don't say he did this, that's he's responsible. We say, I have done many things that has conditioned him to do. So therefore, he's just as conditioned by us as we are conditioned by him or her or that. So you see that as a
boundary setting in a positive sense, what is my role not to accelerate this problem because they have foolishly done that or maybe heard that, but what is my role, what is my role that I shouldn't do not to de-escalate that, but what is my role to de-escalate that and not impinge on myself as a result of being someone in your life have done, and they have much more greater consequences to us than he's doing to others. For them, it's got nothing. They don't have to set boundaries because they have no relationship. But when you have relationship, you can say, what's the boundary between this and that? But then the boundary is very, very murky. In Buddhism, we don't call it boundary, we call it interdependence. Interdependence. So even if they have made a mistake, we can see technically in this world he's strong. But in Buddhism, we don't say that. We say everything's interdependently originated. He is conditioned by many, many unfortunate stress and difficulties that he had no idea what he was doing, even to himself, let alone to us. How am we going to do something that doesn't sort of make him entirely feel he's responsible? This society always tries to make someone responsible, as we have known. We don't realize how that itself impinges on the other much more. So therefore, taking real boundary is take your own self-responsibility, not to escalate it, not to think they are what you think they are, not to think they are what you think they are totally dependent on what you think. So when we have positive boundary setting mind, he must be my past life mother or such and such. I must have done these things wrong to other people. This coming around like this, that's the teaching says. So maybe if I have this kind, a way to accept this, then we are not negating and pushing somebody away, but rather we ourselves know our thought about them is also creating karma if we are not conscious of it. Sure, we have quite a lot of opinion who's did what and they should be accountable or something like that. We all have that. It's easy. It doesn't need any wisdom to think somebody is at fault. But we need wisdom and insight to know, what am I now doing to it? Am I able to contain it or resolve it? Or am I adding to the fuel of the problem? Everybody pointing finger to him, like his brothers do that, sisters, the whole family doing that, we also doing that. How many of that is enough for him? Nobody is setting boundaries there. Everybody's barking and blaming, and that is not really barking and blaming has huge karmic consequences. People don't realize that it doesn't quite look as it appears to us. So that's why having compassion to other people's mistakes and sufferings is a good boundary. What is our role? We should develop compassion to them, tolerance to them. Not to say that what they did is okay, but what they did is done out of lack of control. Basically, they have drinking. They drink it. They drink desire. They drink hatred. They drink resentment. If somebody's drunk, we usually take care of them. He's drunk. Let's take him home. Most sentient beings are drunk. Desire, greed, resentment, jealousy. And that's what makes them do the things they do. So that's a boundary. That's boundary setting. Even though he's like that, but he had the green drink. That's the jealousy. He's the red drink. That's the aggression. He's the dark drink. That's the ignorance. You can color code all the defilements. In Buddhism, we have color coding of all the defilements. And people become deluded. They don't really know what they're doing, poor thing. Particularly if you love someone who does that wrong, quite different from someone who really you don't like, who doing that wrong. If someone is a minor who you care, he did all the same mistake as somebody else, but you tend to have a lot of softer, kinder approach to him or her. Why? You're setting your boundary not to be judgmental, but to be kind. That counter boundary setting is good, positive. But rather than saying, I don't want to let them do this in my life, all his fault. No, it's what he does is inconsequential. Except what you think about it. To some people, it's not a problem. To others, it's a lot. So I suppose we need to learn to understand our attitude rather than right and wrong. That's what His Holiness Dalai Lama says. It's not right and wrong that's important, but being kind is most important. Particularly if somebody has done something not useful, beneficial, or harmful to others, then there's no doubt that he has done something wrong or harmful. But how can you help him? By telling him it's wrong? Or being kind to him and therefore make him to realize that in one way or another and then correct themselves. If we did that, then we are really going to change them. But we try to change people out of aggression and punishment and retaliation, as that's going to quell. They don't realize the consequences of retaliation, consequences of punishment. With that kind of vindictiveness, when you do, it does not clear the boundary very clearly. It actually makes it even more murky. But if we practice kindness, that's his karma, that's his doing. What can I do not to make it worse to them or to myself, to others? Why am I affected by that? It's because of my own insecurity. And when you take responsibility, that's a good boundary setting, because we realize we become what we do has more consequences to us than what we think they did. We're just thinking what they did. It may be completely incorrect, There are lots of such hearsays. There's lots of stories people tell somebody did, but when you check, it's not the case at all. People paint all kinds of pictures when they don't like somebody. And because people are politically or whatever, they're biased towards each other, they paint all kinds of very judgmental pictures. When you know, out of kindness to all sentient beings are equal recipient of your compassion, equal recipient of your forgiveness, when you understand that, the one who has done some wrong, whose wrongness we feel because of some kind of relationship we have, we have to have compassion. How can his suffering or wrongdoing does not escalate by our poor reaction to it? If that's a boundary setting, people don't think like that. They don't think what they do have any consequences. Only what somebody did has consequences, but what they do to it has no consequences. As if that will never have to be. Actually, they have lots of consequences. We only experience what we did is the consequences. What we think to them. We didn't say anything, but what we thought was really a bit aversive or negative started by us. We are very kind, forgiving towards them. Even their wrong mistake was quite extreme, quite extreme. They say in Buddhism, it's real loving kindness is someone who do all the wrong things against you and then still being able to dispense loving kindness to them and not harbor ill will. That's true loving kindness. Loving kindness to show to someone who's nice to you is just attachment practice. Doesn't even need training. It's attachment practice. People are pretty good at it. Real loving kindness is when someone does something really, really harmful, really, really meticulous plan to hurt you. Even then, you do not take it personally and still see the more value of forgiving them out of your goodness and due to their weakness of their mind or their thought or their stress or whatever, and then not escalate them, and then sending true loving kindness towards them. Lack of ill will is true mindfulness. True mindfulness is not lack of those who doesn't do bad things to you. That's not a blessing. Blessing is lack of ill will towards others who do the very things you don't want. That is real passage. There's real movement happening, real progress happening, real meditation happening. And amazing thing about that is, then you can practice that with all sentient beings next time. He and she, their problem is because neither of them are able to practice this. That's the problem. So, no problems are big. Except their inability to do that.
So if they can practice this, would be good. And next time there is any conflict you see between two people, you will love both. You can see also, you take no side. You can see this, they too lack this awareness, this ability. How can we boost their capacity to practice this? And then we develop a really universally a kind of relevant compassion to all sentient beings. Quite a few people joining us today. Thank you, everybody. We're about to close here. Thank you. I think that's all we have time for, everyone. So let's do the dedication merits on page 10, which is really sharing our thoughts that we have come to do today. Try to plant those thoughts, something to keep in our mind, how to practice thought management practice, how to repeal some thoughts, how to recruit some other thoughts, and then try to overcome the negativities. So with this, we do the dedication. Bade mehere mewe hovaga da deva menzege honeze mehale bere dobe from the ocean bedode zene de herenda mahayana jije whatever mereda me obe be gazela toda mahayana jije courage manju shenode azama trabara de lava follow ode zam aja de ode mere mede hexelem body jeda teba verana yadanza where has been bomeding freely without generation. Thank you, everyone. Hello, thank you, everyone. See you next time.